We're good? Oh, good. It's helpful when everyone can hear. So thank you for joining us. We're grateful for the mighties. This is really a celebration today. To celebrate that through the love of our brothers, that chapter 20 of Jesus, a New Covenant is now available in Spanish. And this is just a means given by Jesus where he gave it for me. It was so helpful because it brought together in that chapter so many of the beliefs out of A Course in Miracles. And then with each one, when I was going through with him, he would tell me, show me how there was a desire for that experience under my awareness outside of a realization that I was denying myself infinite love by keep having these beliefs and this desired experience. So the instructions came from Jesus for us to share this for me to share this with brothers. And then brothers could join up and partner together and go through the book with each other through chapter 20. And he gave specific guidelines for how to join with a brother and call Jesus, and that he would coach everyone one-on-one. And this has been very precious for many of us going through these on a daily basis. And now this is available in Spanish. We want to invite our those who speak Spanish as their primary language, the opportunity, if they would like to speak to Jesus and develop a deeper relationship with Jesus. Now this is an available means to them. To be coached one-on-one past the idea of a personal identity. And then we've invited also our brothers who have been talking to Jesus through this means to share their experiences and what Jesus has taught them. Because the beings who join us here have a call in the heart. They're already hearing Jesus. Anyone who comes to these circles hears Jesus, and quite well. And there may be a little bit of uncertainty about that, but that's why we're going to talk to Jesus so he can tell us what's blocking hearing him. Oh, thank you, Renee. Is going to set it up too. So the beings here, our beloveds here, have been going together with Jesus every day and letting him guide down. And there's so much joy. Like if once we can get past that, no, I don't want to look at chapter, because it's a jam-packed chapter. All the big fat no's to God are just, a lot of them are like jam-packed in that chapter. So the ego's going to avoid looking, because it's all over once we see that, no, we do want this experience. And as I've said many times, when Jesus was showing me this, like here I was typing a New Covenant, just typing. That's all that book is just typing. And then he said, this is a new way given by me. I wasn't, it's like, until he really started working with me like one-on-one and showing me, yes, you believe this and you desire that. And so he's going to allow me to release some of the notes that I was also typing. I was having one-on-one conversations with him. And some of those I actually typed and just typed out what he said. And the only point of those being, well, one, I follow his direction. He said not to release those, but then he just gave me permission to do that. And it's really the same thing in kind of comfort I had when he sent me to the text to read it. And I could see how he would talk so specifically and directly with Helen. And then you'll see that in this text, that you can sit down, he's encouraging you to sit down with him and ask him questions. And that's what the light circles are for, to get used to hearing and speaking to him. And seeing it's just a really gentle, can we say that? Does that feel? And the being said it's just a gentle conversation. It's a fireside chat with him. And so that we're not afraid anymore. And you can actually ask him why. Jesus, why aren't I hearing you? Can you help me with that? And he'll tell you, okay, here's all the reasons why you don't want to hear my voice. So I'm going to be posting those conversations that I had where he started teaching me how to look at desires with him and how to have a conversation with him and see what we practice with him. Then we can get clearer and clearer. And then you'll be able to ask him every question, all kinds of questions that you might have about the course or that you don't understand. So yes, it can be helpful to seemingly to hear me speak about it or another being, or you'll hear your brother speaking like God with you in these joinings. But it was just, I know I needed to hear it on the inside with him. The comfort coming deep from within to see and have him show me how this is the true voice. So we'll go through today. Thank you, Dyra, for the translation, and Lina and Melissa. How could we be so blessed to have these brothers who would come and answer Jesus's call, so that this available for everyone to speak to him as clearly as Helen through this, reading a sentence and then ask, okay, Jesus, tell me about that. And you'll see it in the notes, how I would ask him one thing and then he'd tell me. And he'd tell me when I was investing in the untrue, he's really direct, like he was with Helen. I love that when Helen's writing some kind of comment, she's typing it that it's, the course is optional, and Jesus goes, no, it is not. Big caps. And you'll see that when he's talking to me, But you can have that kind of relationship. And as we're seeing here, we just start laughing more when we ask one of these questions, Jesus, do I still have a desire for whatever it is? And then as you're starting to hear them more and more, and you hear that, yes, you do. It's like, oh, Jesus, yes, I do have that desire. But that way we can clear this with him and see that he's really here. And there's no limitations to our ability to hear Jesus, because that's our natural voice, the voice of God. That's the only voice worth having in our hearts. So first we'll start this session again by thanking Jesus for giving such a simple way. And the other thing that's so great, once we get past the nose, like I can't look at chapter 20 and run in the other way and all those other plays that appear, to see that this is the guilt will fall away, fear will fall away. Because if you've seen that little video you can look at that too. We need to translate that to Spanish as well. So work on that. But it's a little video that shows the miscreation, him describing how miscreation occurs and where the fear and guilt are formed. See, it's desire first. So now, instead of going into guilt and fear, he's taken us down to desire, and desire is before guilt and fear. And then it becomes so much easier, so much lighter for us. So I'll just start talking and let him, he's the one, this is from him. I'll let him do the talking. And we'll just go through these. And then if you have questions, you can ask whatever questions you're having, or shares from our beloveds who have been working together on chapter 20. This is really for having a relationship with love, with ourselves as we truly are. It says Jesus is providing a simple means to work with him to release the desire to deny divinity, and thus directly experience what A Course in Miracles is teaching is true. So the whole focus of A New Covenant is him reminding us that this is not some airy-fairy thing, A Course in Miracles. This is not something that you can like dream about and maybe happen or maybe see. No, he's saying this is something you can experience with me, and I am here to help you directly so that you will experience this, because the call of your heart is for this. So now it's time for experience. And that's what he kept emphasizing to me when I was typing. He kept saying, don't be with the metaphysics kind of ideas and concepts and discuss those so much anymore. Don't spend time on that. Spend time talking to me and letting me help show you where you don't want to be a divine being, where you don't want to be what you already are, whole and holy and complete. So we start with infinite light, the light of who we are. And then say, okay, Jesus, give it to me. Show me where I don't want to be light. He is encouraging us to join one-on-one with a brother and him, inviting him in to review and release the beliefs and desires listed in chapter 20, Jesus, A New Covenant, ACIM. So these are the specific instructions for how to join and go through and release the desires. And I emphasize under his guidance. And boy, Jesus really was making it clear with me. And I'm so glad that he did, because I didn't really understand, when I heard he was in charge of the atonement through the play in consciousness, obviously I didn't really want to see that, but he had to make it perfectly clear who was in charge. And that he needs to be in control of every miracle. Because the play of consciousness is to try to divert every miracle and avoid miracles. You can ask him, Jesus, is the play of consciousness to try and avoid miracles like they're a plague? And so he's teaching us how to ask. Remember, he says in A Course, he says, ask me what's most helpful healing the mind. See, the play was not to see that either. Just because the play is to divert. But when you're working with him, you see what happens is like, okay, we're not at peace. And then this big story blooms of how we're not at peace. And I got to look at this and that, blah, 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 blah. It gets to be that little blah, 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 blah thing. But the quicker we go to him and say, okay, Jesus, show me, then, and you'll see this too, you could do that for a little while and just, maybe you're joining with someone and you go off into the blah, 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 and all this happened. But when you ask them and you say, what's underneath all of this? Will you show me the desire? You're going to think, well, that doesn't relate at all. Because remember, I'm never upset for the reason I think is way up here in the play. It's being driven by these desires underneath it. And he knows what they are. Because we wrote the story so we wouldn't know what they are. So we need his help. So every step here is calling to him. Will you guide me to show me where the denial is? If I still believe this, I still have this. So it's important to emphasize that when we come together with a brother, and we will help you with this, find brothers and bring them together. It's part of our function as assigned by Jesus. We say yes. And you want to join with a brother, then we'll try and get brothers and listen to Jesus. He'll guide it all. So everything we do, we're going to ask Jesus who the right brothers to go together. And sometimes you just don't want that to be the brother that Jesus picks at all. But we have to trust that he knows. See, he's going to bring exactly the right brother that's going to help us get to heaven the fastest. So we have to trust that. Because that brother's going to show us where we're saying the big fat no to ourselves as divine beings, and it's really trusting. So it's a little trust activity with Jesus. We just say yes and go, and just ignore all the kerfuffling that might just go, no, I'm going to look at this just to see, what do I have to lose? Nothing. Except the idea of hell, which we're living. So maybe some brothers will share on that too. This joining is not a discussion. So he's saying discussions are over. Okay. No metaphysical discussions. What this is deep listening, inviting Jesus, deep listening to what he says about these desires. These joining sessions are a Q&A session with Jesus to determine whether the desires are below the level of awareness, whether what we've suppressed. See, desires get suppressed. And then what happens is then the ego uses that to go hunting for proof that those desires are true. So we can have an experience of hell on earth. And to ask for his help to release the desires that deny miracles, which are natural to us. I'm going to ask Renee if you would go get the book for us, the chapter 20, because we might refer to that. So the key points here are to ask Jesus for help to find a partner, mighty companion, which you can ask Jesus through us. We're going to collect the names of those that really feel the call to this. And it takes devotion. And he's reminding me that you can, thank you, beloved, and you can ask him how often. You let him control what timing and how often. And he'll make the space for it. The beauty is he's reminding me that if we do this, he's going to take care of the minutia. You can ask him, Jesus, will you take care of the minutia for me if I focus on this? See, yes. That is often the excuse. I got too much to do and I can't. Just ignore all that. Ask him how often you're to meet with your partner, then jump on board. Because we're worthy of this. We're worthy not to carry around these desires are big, fat, heavy rocks. We can hardly breathe, but we don't even see that. So a partner line by line to heal with all the desires listed. Chapter 20, you'll start seeing, wow, there are a lot. There are a lot in here. Just take them one sentence at a time. That's what he's saying. One sentence. Okay. Be committed that this is a gentle contemplation that is a good use of time. Be willing to be completely guided step by step through the chapter with Jesus. Join with only one partner. So this is a one-on-one. And you'll see the power of that, because when you sit in groups, sometimes the mind, the wrong-mindedness is it wants to think about everything except this. So it's going to use that excuse, well, they're doing it over there. And then I can be thinking about my next vacation and planning it. You'll see all kinds of things, maybe the partners here will come in and share some of the things they notice, how consciousness avoids looking. So just be willing to be guided. Realize that it may take a number of sessions to deeply go through the chapter. So this is not a hurry through. This is literally saying, take one sentence. Let's just take a thing. Okay. Here's one. This is a good one too. You believe that if you were to look at all the beliefs and desires below your level of awareness, you would be destroyed by God. Okay. That's a good one to look at, because that's why we avoid looking. That comes directly from the Course. Okay. And just take that sentence. One of you can read it out. Doesn't matter which partner. Just read that and just contemplate it and say, okay, Jesus, give me the scoop. Do I believe this? And that's really how he hooked me in totally, because when I was typing this chapter and I'm going, holy smokes, I believe all these. All these, even after 10 years with the Course, these are still, he's showing me, and you believe that one and that one and that one. It's like, no wonder we feel like we're in hell, because all that's hidden down there. But the mighties will tell you too that it gets lighter as we just release all that noise. In most cases, it is not as direct or helpful to have more than 2 people at once. So that's why we're saying just buddy up. So you just go really deep together. Join with your partner in person or via teleconference. Okay, you can do that. Facebook Messenger, Zoom has worked quite well for everyone. It's good to be face to face, he says. Yeah. And pray for help. Ask him, Jesus, focus on the light first and go, okay, I need help. That's the hardest thing, really, because the ego's going, I can do this by myself. we really need him to show us how much we want to do this, how much we want to do this by ourselves. We need Jesus to show us we absolutely can't. We need his help. So we ask for help. See, he can't help us unless we invite him in. So that's number 1. Okay. So you can review these instructions with your partner. Again, you'll have this video to watch. We have it in English as well and a different link. So the English form, both of these forms are available on the Joining in Light website in Spanish and in English. And we'll add this link to today's session for the Spanish one. You can watch it in English too, obviously, if you're just starting out. Now, if you haven't spent time with Jesus clearing any desires, there's also just a real basic sheet, the Joining in Light Miracle Worksheet. And you could practice that with your partner a couple of times and just get used to that. That's just how to talk to Jesus in general, how to invite him in, how he guides the miracles, how to ask him which miracles to perform. That's just, you can use that if any upset comes up. And as the beings that are here probably tell you how sometimes you're coming in to do this chapter and you're already upset. So it's good to go through that with Jesus and clear all that energy, right? Because all the objections, it's just objections not to look. So we want to remember that the pain is in the not looking. You can ask Jesus, Jesus, all the pain in not looking? Okay. And also you'll find the light circles helpful because it's teaching us to have that dialogue, just the inner listening. He says, staying in the light circles and joining when upsets arise will also support this process. So just keep joining. And there's a Facebook group. You're welcome if you speak either language to join it. It's a little messenger group. And that's where beings are just, they're notifying each other, look, I want to join. And they notify each other and then they jump, we call it jump a join. They join with each other and use the worksheets. Like if you're just doing a regular join, the first couple of times, follow that miracle worksheet. The first couple of times you join for the light for chapter 20, follow the worksheet. And also we'll have someone join with you the first time so they can support you. Dyra or Lina, so they can support your team. And you'll see how easy it is to talk to Jesus. So you read one sentence, pause, and ask Jesus what you need to see. Such good training just to pause and say, okay, what do I need to hear? And then ask them, do I really have this belief or desire below my level of awareness? And you'll hear him. He'll tell you it does. After a while, you do. Like we'll sit here and he'll tell us one all the same time. And all our heads go like this and we just laugh because we know he's right. If he says it does, admit the desire and ask for a miracle. If he says, now he might tell you, this seems is a surprise, but again, the beings here will tell you sometimes when you say you're not ready for a miracle. It's not that you can't have a miracle. It's that you don't want a miracle and he knows where you don't want it. Where you don't want it. So you just stay with him. And what he'll teach you, let me ask him if it's okay to talk about that. He'll teach you how to see the itch, the wanting of desire, so we can admit it. Oh, I want that, Jesus. I want that more than God. See, when you start seeing how you want the desires more than God, you're really onto it. You're really onto it, because then that can be released to a miracle, that wanting of something. Because see that the light doesn't want anything, it just is. If he says you're not ready for a miracle, ask him if he will take you deeper into seeing the desire so it can be released. And you may go down several floors in that elevator. And it's hilarious. You just watch how this works, because you'll go, I'm done. But then you carefully ask them with your partner, are we done? Do we feel like we're complete on this one? And if your partner's saying, no, I don't feel like we're complete, then trust, and then just ask Jesus again, what do I need to see? And it's like you'll get these little releases, and then you'll think, oh, I'm done. And then he'll go, no, you're not. So you trust him, and then you listen. Okay, bring me deeper, Jesus. And you'll all of a sudden, oh, he's right. Boy, do I want this still. I really want this. And then it'll clear, and you ask him again, are we ready for a miracle? And, he might say, go deeper. So you just keep going with him deeper and deeper until it's really clear. And when you're ready, he'll take you to show you how that's a desire for death down there. But it won't be scary. It's just releasing the energy, the old dead energy. Like Muji says, we're carrying a dead fish in our pocket. Just put this. You can ask him, you keep asking. So again, he's controlling the miracles, because the consciousness wants to stop them. So this way he can really lead us and hone us right to where the no is. Keep going until he tells you are complete with looking. It is helpful for both mighty. So we're looking inward. You may find that your mind drifts when you start to look. This is a distraction. Just keep asking Jesus to help you stay focused on releasing the desire. So you might, find yourself in Kansas somewhere. You might be on the beach in Peru. It plays all kinds of different ways. Just gently come back and say, Jesus, I need your help. Because obviously this is something I do not want to look at. See, that's the clue that he's showing you something to look at, is when your mind starts wandering. It's going to try to avoid. Dun, 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 I don't want to see that. So whenever we can't hear his voice, or mind wandering, means we don't want to hear it. See, we don't want to hear what he has to say. So it gets to be a little clue. Just keep asking Jesus to help you stay focused on releasing the desire for the experience. So he takes you down. Now, this is how the ego is going to want to play this game. So don't let your ego get involved. We're infinite, powerful beings, so we don't have to kowtow to the ego. He would tell me that you're engaging you know, you're playing weak. And if you let him, he'll talk to you real direct like that, you know. Okay, go ahead, tell me, Jesus, where I'm like playing weak. So keep going down until you feel the wanting, the itch for it. Like, okay, go ahead, Jesus, give me the wanting of it. Like, I want this more than God. When you get, you'll see that too. Cause like I've said here, go down a little bit with him and he's, oh, I do want that. But all of a sudden I was in the shower and I go, holy smokes, I want that. I want it bad. When you're getting down to that point, you know you're onto something, because just looking that directly releases that energy of the no. So he's saying stay at the level of desire. So go underneath all the beliefs and all the emotion, because the ego is going to start tossing out guilt and, you know, and oh my gosh, especially when he shows you have a desire, it's innocent looking. We're just, just get curious. Oh, that's interesting. Boy, I do want this. Just admit, okay, I want it. I do. But look at it innocent. There's no judgment in it. Because as soon as you're in judgment, you're going to cry and you're going to be all guilty up there. And he's going, no, don't spend any time on guilt. You're innocent. Just release the desire energy. Just give it to me for a miracle. So you're staying with how much you want it. You'll see that. It's like, oh my gosh, Jesus, I still think my brother's trying to rip heaven from me. I want that experience of beings ripping heaven. So you're staying with the wanting. That's it. You're learning to stay with the desire and admit it. Do not be distracted by emotions or pictures. So all kinds of stuff. The kitchen sink will start coming out. Pictures, dancing, you know, swirling dervishes. No, just ignore that and go to the wanting. Stay focused of the energy of the desire for experience and ask for help to release it. After a desire's release, you may share briefly, but you check in with Jesus to say, are we done? He's controlling, you know, to make sure you got down as far as you can go, or he will take you today. Because you may hear, okay, this is as far as we're going to go on this today. Then you trust him. And occasionally he will speak to you. He will tell you what you needed to see. You know, I can feel it. I want it to be arrogant. And then you can say, you know, if he tells you, then you can just say, yeah, he's telling me I really need to look at this and this. You can speak for yourself or what you're hearing him say. And you'll be amazed at how you'll start hearing the same thing with your partner. Or your partner will say something that you know you needed to hear that. It's really beautiful. So you share briefly. It's not a discussion. You're sharing, this is what I heard Jesus say to me. What he told you about the desire. If he tells you, it's helpful to share. So you check in, Jesus, do I share this? Please keep this to a minimum as the greatest focus on releasing the desire to a miracle. And then there are a couple of stories from one of the video sessions. So with that, I feel like I'm just going to open to see if there are any questions that are here about the chapter. Hola, Ana Maria. Not sure I can unmute you. It's not letting me. Can you unmute from your side? Let's see. Yeah, do you know how to unmute your, she doesn't know how? Okay, so if you look in the lower left-hand side.
Hola, Ana María.
Oh.
¿Puedes quitarte de silencio? ¿Te permite Zoom quitarte del silencio?
Yeah, it's not allowing me to unmute
Sí, no
her.
me deja de quitarla del silencio.
She might need to go down to the little microphone button at the bottom and then select a microphone. Can she talk to you over the recording, Dyra? And then you just speak what she's saying?
I'm texting her and she says that she's not able to unmute herself for some reason.
Okay, but you're also doing this via the teleconference too as well? If she
Yes,
speaks,
this is Anna's first time, so I'm not sure if I sent her the instructions on how to connect to the, oh, hola Ana,
oh, now we have her. Excellent.
aquí la tenemos, excelente. ¿Puedes escucharnos bien, Ana? She can hear us okay now.
Good. What would she like to ask?
¿Tienes alguna pregunta?
No, por ahora no.
At the moment, I don't have any.
Oh, okay. We thought she wanted to share. Okay.
Pensamos que querías compartir. Está bien.
Does anyone else would like to hear anything from Jesus that's coming up that they'd like to share? They can ask questions or share their experiences with chapter 20. Okay. Thank you, Anne.
Oh, I feel like I'm the wet fish, never mind having one in my pocket, because yeah, it's not working out too well, my chapter 20. And I'm also noticing that I want to run away from this group. So I'm really sort of, just doing my best to overcome that, because you said it this morning actually in group that, oh, the temptation, oh, it's great, everything's wonderful. And it was like, I'm loving this. And then all of a sudden it's like, I want to run away. But so it seems to be, like it's around my join-ins, like on chapter 20. And I just don't feel confident that I hear Jesus, and my partner Cory doesn't feel confident, and we just end up, Mary's helped us through this, like me trying to be responsible and Cory trying to be, almost like mother-child kind of relationship thing that seems to play out there. And we've not been in touch for over a week now, so it's like, and I just feel like I don't know what to do.
Okay. Well, it's beautiful that you're continuing to join with Mary, and we certainly can join because we're really here. It's for all of us to see these things. So we can just ask Jesus now, Anne. Let's just ask him what's most helpful, what seems to be not wanting to be looked at, if he can help guide us in that.
No, I don't know. I can't hear anything. Okay.
I can tell you what I'm hearing is to look at the belief that if you see these desires, that it's sacrifice, that something will be lost. Jesus, is there a desire below my level of awareness that I'll lose something if I look with you at each of these? If I hear your voice, will I lose something?
Mm. Yeah, there's a fear around hearing the voice for Jesus, and it's I did the writing out thing earlier, after that was mentioned today, and I just looked at it and just screwed it all up, and I thought that's just bullshit. I was like, I just got so angry.
Mm.
Mm.
And what does Jesus say is under the anger? If you go below the anger with him, what does he say is there?
All I can hear is fear of change. That's all.
Because we feel actually that, see, in one of the desires is the ego believes if no change enters in, see, heaven is no change entering in, yet the ego is change itself. So it is that belief that that heaven is in keeping the ego and hell is heaven. It's conflict. So we believe that if we look at desires, we're going straight to hell. You can ask them, am I going to go to hell if I listen to you, Jesus? Do I believe?
What? But it's true.
So you just heard him. See, that's all is hearing him, because we know when we hear it, it like penetrates. It goes boom like that. See that little boom like that? It's like, oh, you're so right, Jesus. That's hearing. See, that's when we hear it, when it goes kind of, oh, right, I really want this. This is beautiful what you're saying, because it gives us the perfect example for all of us of how when we start to look, the ego is going to put its little protection shell on, and it's going to go, no, not here, because it believes keeping the shell is heaven. Jesus, so we just check in again. Do I believe heaven is not looking with you? Yet in truth, is it really hell not to look with you? If I look really carefully, is it really hell holding on to all these desires?
That's more what I'm hearing. It's like, no, it's not heaven, but you're choosing to stay in hell.
Yes.
at some level, and I'm really not aware of that level.
Well, and that's really why he's here to help us, right? So maybe we could ask him, because one of the best conversations to have with Jesus right up front is, Jesus, will you show me why I'm afraid to speak with you and afraid that I can't hear your voice? Will you talk to me about that?
I've got a distraction in my mind because I'm, sort of.
That's okay, because this is a deep one. See, we're getting into these deep lookings, and we can just see them because we can see that even if it's a distraction, is infinite light impacted by the distraction?
No.
That's the most important seeing, to see that no matter what distractions come up, infinite light's unfazed. So then we can just look at, okay, what do I believe it means to talk to you, Jesus?
Yeah, that I would recognize that I'm worthy. Mm.
So is there still a belief in sacrifice if you were to listen to him? This is for all of us.
What's distracting my mind is, if I'm joining with my brother, don't we both need to be listening and hearing him?
Well, you do both hear him. He's telling me that directly. Both you and Cory can hear him. They're just doubt thoughts that we can't. And again, it's a desire not to hear our own natural voice, because then game is over for the ego. So all we can do is look with Jesus at the desire, the conditions, see the conditions that are making it seem like we can't speak to him. So we just say, okay, Jesus, I'm not hearing you. You're my natural voice. Show me the conditions, the desired experience not to hear your voice. But you both can hear him. He's telling me that directly. Just like you heard him just now. The words that are coming is, you believe being under God's authority will limit you. Jesus, do I have a desire for an experience where feeling like if I'm under God's authority, I'll be limited? And can I release that to a miracle?
There's that lack of trust.
It felt what?
There's a lack of trust, that I I can let go, which has just been in the mind so much, that letting go.
Yeah, and there's always an idea in consciousness that there's actually something that's possible to hold on to. But if we look in the light of divine being, does the light of divine being, does it have anything to hold on to or let go of?
No.
And does the light of divine being have any challenges talking to Jesus?
No.
And does the light of divine being feel that looking at desires like this is sacrifice?
No.
What does the light know about looking at these things? Is this helpful?
Does the light know about looking at these things? That they're not there.
Thank you, Anne. That's for all of us. That's all we get to see when we look, is that they're not there. Ask Jesus. What does Jesus say about that?
I don't hear anything. It's just a smile.
Yes, that's good. That's sometimes all we need. It's a smile. Yeah. That's beautiful. Yeah, thank you for sharing all that. Really. That's just the best thing, to look over and see that Jesus is just smiling. And that desires don't exist.
Thank you. I feel just so much lighter.
Oh, thank you, Anne. Boy, that's for the whole. Go for God. We love you. We're so glad you shared. I love you. Anyone else hearing anything with the blessed mighties who hear Jesus? You all hear Jesus. Like Jesus said to me, and don't tell me you can't hear me, because you can't. Yeah, would any of you like to come share your experiences with chapter 20? Maybe Lina, would you like to come share your experience with chapter 20? I'm talking to Jesus.
Hola a todos.
Hello, everyone.
Bueno, mi experiencia ha sido
Well,
que al principio, más alto, mi experiencia ha sido que al principio
my experience was that in the beginning,
no me quería unir porque sentía un gran miedo.
I didn't want it to join because I felt this fear.
Pero conforme fui a las uniones con el hermano,
And as soon as I truly joined with my brother,
me empecé a dar cuenta que tenía resultados rápidos.
I can see that the results were really quickly.
Así es que lo que quería era unirme,
And that my true calling was to join,
aunque de cierta manera había todavía una resistencia.
even if there was a high resistance.
Pero me di cuenta que ese era el camino porque cuando leí el capítulo 20,
But I knew this was the path because when I read chapter 20,
iba de sobresalto en sobresalto dándome cuenta que todo era para mí.
I can see that even jumping in, it was all for me.
Y me di cuenta que eso es precisamente lo que Jesús ofrece en un curso de milagros.
And this is exactly what Jesus is offering through A Course in Miracles.
Liberar todas las negaciones de lo que somos, el ser divino.
To release all the denials, to see the true being, the light of being.
Y bueno, al principio estas emociones han salido como una
And,
especie de volcán.
and in the beginning, all these emotions were flushing up like it was a volcano.
Pero cada vez van suavizando más.
But I can see how everything became just more gentle.
He visto como la hoja de guía de Unión
And I can see through working through the miracle worksheet,
efectivamente uno se niega a los milagros.
I can see how I was denying the miracle.
Uno se niega completamente el ser y eso es muy doloroso.
I can see how I was denying the self, and that is very painful.
Pero bueno, aquí Jesús nos está dando gracias a Kay.
And while Jesus is guiding us through Kay,
Estos acercamientos al hermano y a Jesús para poder ir viendo estas negaciones.
and the joining with my brother, and through this working chapter 20 in the worksheet, I can see, ¿puedo ver?
Yo, por ejemplo, en mi experiencia,
And I can see in my experience,
mi mente divaga mucho.
my mind wanders.
Y me he dado cuenta que en esa divagación atrás hay muchos deseos.
And I can see through this mind wandering that behind that there's a lot of desires.
Entonces, yo sé que en la medida que vaya viendo esos deseos, profundizándolos,
And I know that as I see these desires and I can go deeper and deeper,
Jesús me va a llevar a su guía perfecta.
Jesus is gonna take me to his perfect guidance.
Porque así lo siento en mi corazón.
Because that's how I feel it in my heart.
Y pues muchas gracias, con mucho amor y agradecimiento por todo esto.
So I'm very grateful for all of you and for this.
Gracias.
Thank
Gracias.
you. Te amamos.
Igualmente. ¿Y tú?
Would anyone else like to share like their resistance and maybe how Jesus helped them through it and coached them through it? Okay. Ana Maria?
Sí, le contaba a Dair esta semana precisamente de eso. He tratado de tener algunos cambios en mi vida, se han presentado algunos cambios y he sentido el ego creando resistencia total y ha sido esta semana una lucha total contra ello.
So I was expressing to Daida how there was a lot of changes in my life right now, and I can see through this life-changing moments that there was a lot of resistance surfacing.
Y poco a poco sí he tratado de decirle, bueno, ayúdame y háblame, como tú nos has enseñado. Y lo he logrado.
And in this way, I told them, well, I went into prayer and I said, well, help me do this step by step so I can hear you.
Y también encuentro resistencia en que, por ejemplo, ahorita me quería conectar con ustedes y me presentaron 1000 inconvenientes.
And this is why I wanted to join with you all, because I was confronting a lot of inconveniences.
Ha sido una lucha constante, ha sido bien difícil para mí.
It's been a constant struggle, and it's been really hard for me.
Es difícil para mí escucharlo y dejar el ego a un lado.
It's been difficult for me to hear Jesus and put the ego aside.
Y me ha pasado algo similar a lo que decía Evangelina, que quisiera como, hay algo que como que me impide como no te conectes con ellos, aléjate de ellos, algo similar.
And I've been facing something similar as Lina has been expressing, that there's something in me that is like, no, don't join with your brothers. Don't join with the group. Don't join.
Pero bueno, pues aquí estoy y pues la idea es tratar de hacerlo y no desistir.
But even through that, here I am.
Amen. We're all in for Jesus. So Anna Maria asks, will you ask Jesus what he's saying about this? What does he say about this?
Ana, ¿le puedes preguntar a Jesús qué te está diciendo sobre esto?
Ay. Sentí algo, sí. Sí, sentí la vocecita. Claro que sí habla. Ay.
I just heard him. Of course he talks.
Es increíble. Sí. Ay, sí. Es increíble. Claro. Sí, me dice que siga adelante.
He says to keep going.
Me asusté.
I got scared because I just heard him so clearly.
He told me you can hear him very clearly.
Él me dijo que puedes escucharlo muy claro.
Sí, lo escuché muy claro y me asusté y me confundí.
I just heard the voice and I actually got scared and I got a little confused.
Pensé que era imposible, pero no lo es.
I thought it was impossible, but actually it is possible.
Wow, es maravilloso.
This is just amazing.
Sí.
This is the joy too. Look at the joy from hearing too. Is that touch our hearts so deeply?
Eso es lo que nos toca a nuestros corazones.
Sí.
Yes.
That was precious.
Eso fue precioso.
Aún sigue hablándome.
And I can still hear him going.
Ay. Es que me da mucho miedo.
I experienced a little fear though.
It's
Eh,
okay. Just give it to him. Just take it in a little bundle, the fear, and just hand it over to him and see what he does with it.
Simplemente ponlo como en un paquete, todo este miedo y entrégaselo y solo espera a ver qué pasa.
sí, me estaba diciendo que continuara, que él estaba conmigo, que no temiera, que él está conmigo.
He is telling me to just stay with him, to stay with him, that he's with me, that he's with me.
Wow. Además, siento como un frío, como, no sé, siento algo diferente. Tengo una temperatura diferente en mi cuerpo, algo diferente.
I just feel like there's this like coldness running through my body, just this experience.
Wow. Ah, pero se siente mucha paz y se siente como una fuerza que te impulsa a... Es muy bonito.
And it's just this peace that is overcoming me, and I feel this strength I cannot explain, and it's beautiful.
No, simplemente escucho que me dice, continúa, continúa, sigue, como que no pares, no desistas, cálmate porque estoy temblando.
He just keeps like whispering in my ear, just continue, don't give up, just stay with me, I'm here with you. And it's just so beautiful. I'm still really, I'm still processing it.
Y bueno, estoy tratando de calmarme, estoy como en shock, como llena de felicidad, tengo una felicidad en mi corazón impresionante y siento una energía deliciosa, siento algo que nunca había sentido, es algo especial.
Yeah, I'm actually, there's a little bit of fear as well, but it's something so, I cannot put it into words, and it's so beautiful. I'm shaking.
Yes, ask him if he's been speaking to you all along.
Pregúntale si te ha estado hablando todo este tiempo.
Siempre he estado contigo.
I've always been with you.
Yeah.
Y me gusta que en este momento estés consciente de que yo estoy aquí.
And just in this moment, be conscious that I'm here with you.
Ask him if that's all that's needed.
Pregúntale si esto es lo único que necesitamos.
Confía en mí.
Trust in me.
No temas, ten confianza. Yo siempre estoy contigo. Wow.
Don't be afraid of trusting me because I'm always with you.
Aquí estoy. Me sigue diciendo lo mismo. Siempre recuerda que estoy contigo y no temas.
He's just saying the same thing. Always remember that I'm here with you and there's nothing to be afraid of.
Qué bello.
It's beautiful.
Esta semana cuando tomaste esa decisión, yo estaba contigo.
He's telling me that this weekend, through this week that we had the session, he was actually there with me.
Se está refiriendo a una decisión bien radical y bien importante que tomé esta semana y que cambió curso de algo.
Actually, Anna was talking about a decision she had to take. And he's telling her that when she was making that decision, that he was there with her.
Me está diciendo, ¿ves que todo salió bien?
And he's telling me, did you notice that everything worked out for the good?
Solo tienes que ser consciente de que aquí estoy y no debes de temer.
You just have to be conscious that I'm always with you and that there's nothing to fear.
Siento que él se da cuenta que temo mucho y que me da miedo cuando él me habla, me siento muy extraña y lo que quiere él es que me abra un poco más para escucharlo.
He is showing me that he is very conscious that I'm very fearful, fearful of actually listening his voice and his guidance. So he is just kind of guiding me through into, you know, this new thing for me that actually I'm realizing that I could hear him.
Bueno, el temor se me ha pasado mucho y ya la temperatura de mi cuerpo ya se está normalizando, ya estoy como asimilándolo.
But actually my body's calming down, the temperature is balancing. So I'm relaxing more into hearing his voice.
Mhm.
Estoy feliz.
I'm so happy.
This is our function.
Esta es nuestra función.
Yes.
To hear and speak this voice and only this voice.
Escuchar esta voz y solo esta voz.
Yo nunca pensé que pudiera escucharla y ahorita que la escuché me sentí muy atemorizada, pero cuando él me empezó a hablar y me fui calmando, pero me dio mucho susto al principio.
Yes, it felt really scary at first when it was so direct, the voice that I listened to. So I'm still kind of, I can see that there's a little bit of fear, but I'm more going towards it.
En algún momento pensé que no era él y que era imaginación mía, que él estaba conmigo. No lo creí real en algún momento.
And I'm just noticing now that this voice, at first I felt like I was imagining the voice and that it wasn't real, but now I'm starting to notice that it is.
Gracias, qué felicidad tan grande.
Thank you, Kay. I'm just so happy.
No, mil gracias.
Thousands of thank yous.
Thank you for sharing, because this is what we came here for, to hear that we can all hear.
Gracias por compartir, porque para eso nos unimos, para ver que todos podemos escucharlo.
And to see how he will guide us gently through these desires and open us up to hearing that voice with the level of clarity.
Y ayudarnos de ir profundizando estos deseos y ver que podemos escucharlo a ese nivel de claridad.
This is a fulfillment of his promise that we can all hear as well as Helen. If we open our minds, if we're open to it, we can hear and speak the voice as clearly. And that there are no exceptions to that. So yeah, that's where we just have the little conversation and we can have a little fireside chat with Jesus if it seems like, wow, this is a big surprise that I can hear this voice. He knows it takes an adjustment, but he's here to help us adjust. To adjust to what's most natural. And that will even get more. You'll see it more and more as we foster that communication with him and doing the chapter, because you'll hear it even more and he can teach us even more.
Además que siento que cuando entre más lo escucho, pues lo poco que lo he escuchado esta semana, lo consciente que he sido de escucharlo, como los milagros o sea, la vida coge otro color, coge otro sentido.
And I'm noticing that I wasn't really conscious this week that he's been actually talking to me, even through all the circumstances that I'm just noticing now that I'm actually listening to his voice.
Lo que pensaba que era imposible que sucediera o que cambiara, simplemente de una forma muy, muy clara fue sucediendo.
That what I actually thought that was impossible, actually through all these circumstances, I see that it's possible actually to hear the voice.
Me está diciendo que lo podré seguir sintiendo.
He's actually saying that I will continue to hear him.
Yes.
Sí.
Wow.
It's your function. It's our function here to hear this voice.
Es nuestra función aquí de escuchar su voz.
And because this is our natural voice. The other voices aren't natural. Ask him here. You go and ask Jesus, are those other voices natural or is your voice natural to me?
Porque pensamos que las otras voces son naturales, pero pregúntale a Jesús si su voz es lo que es más natural para nosotros.
Mi voz siempre ha estado contigo. Y me gusta que seas consciente de que te estoy escuchando. Wow.
My voice is always with you, and I'm making you conscious that you can hear me.
Wow. Me sigue diciendo siempre, no temas, tranquilízate, aquí estoy. Y siento como si me estuviera, como algo que me estuviera abrazando. No sé, siento una energía que me abraza. Wow.
He just keeps like whispering into my voice, like, don't fear, I'm with you. Actually, I feel like he's hugging me.
Sí, no es como si sintiera ya solo su voz, sino también como su presencia, como, no sé, algo diferente.
It's not only his voice, but I'm actually starting to notice his presence. I can't quite explain it, but it feels so good.
This is the recognition of infinite.
Este es el reconocimiento de lo infinito.
Ellos están contigo, no los abandones. Siento que me está hablando como de ustedes.
And then he's actually pointing me towards all of you, saying that I'm always with you and I cannot abandon you.
Siento como si me estuviera como invitando como a que no deje el camino que he empezado y como que siga.
And I feel like he's actually giving me the invitation to keep continuing to join and following the path to his guidance.
No temas al cambio, tu esencia nunca va a cambiar. Simplemente vas a sentir mi presencia, vas a ser consciente de mi presencia en tu vida. Wow.
So even through the changing, I'm going to point you towards changeless, and you're going to see my presence be reflecting throughout your life.
Siento una paz tremenda.
I just feel this deep, deep peace.
Es bonito ser consciente de que él está ahí, se siente muy lindo.
And I just have no words on how beautiful it feels to be conscious of his voice.
¿Sabes que me dice que siempre ha estado ahí? Como que siempre ha estado en tu vida, pero nunca la has querido ver.
And he's actually telling me about Kay, that Kay has always been in my life, but I wasn't conscious of it.
A tus hermanos de corazón.
I just can feel him in my heart.
No temas y cuando me escuches, simplemente disfruta de mi compañía como yo disfruto de ti. Algo similar.
Don't be afraid, but just just enjoy my presence just like I enjoy yours.
Aww.
Es muy bello. Wow.
It's just so beautiful.
Ok, tengo una pregunta. Es ser consciente de lo que él me está diciendo, como ahora, estos momentos se pueden volver mucho más repetitivos. Simplemente tengo que estar en una...
I have a question for you, Kane. Now that I'm becoming more conscious of hearing his voice, will this deepening continue? Will this be more clear and clear?
Yes.
Sí.
Yes. And asking him questions. Now you can ask him questions. And he was just telling me before you spoke, he said to start asking him questions so he can answer them, you know, things that you want to know about, that you need to know about. And then just clearing the denials too, that just opens up the whole gate, because the denials are there to prevent hearing him.
Entonces ahora es la gran oportunidad. Actualmente él me estaba diciendo, mientras te escuchaba, que ahora es la oportunidad de empezar a comenzar a preguntarle a él para así hacer esta relación. Y vamos, y a la vez que profundicemos a través de aclarar todas esas negaciones, creencias y deseos, se vuelve más y más claro esa guía.
Okay. Sí, porque cuando me empecé ahorita a conectar con ustedes, no entendía nada y estaba muy confundida, pero había una voz que me decía, sigue, no te desconectes, sigue.
Yes, because actually before joining, there was a lot of doubt that was surfacing, but there was this little voice that kept telling me, just continue, join.
And this is the fulfillment of his promise. See, when we come together, and you'll hear the beings talk about it when they're joining, how much easier it is to hear Jesus. When we're joined together, how much it's easier.
Y ese es el cumplimiento de su promesa actualmente. Todos que estamos aquí, todos estos seres te pueden compartir que cuando nos unimos, su guía y su voz se vuelve mucho más claro, mucho más claro.
And then it'll come a time when you can just hear him. It doesn't matter. You're just going to be able to hear him. If you ask him anything, then you'll get the answer.
Entonces se vuelve mucho más fácil. Actualmente empiezas a crecer esa voz, empiezas a escucharla mucho más clara y dependes completamente en ella.
So this asking, getting in the habit, a new habit of asking him questions and letting, it's like question and answer. And it's through the joining sessions, that's the opportunity to hear him and speak him and letting it just flow. It gets more and more natural.
Entonces a través de esa relación con él, que empiezas a preguntar y recibir las respuestas, y aún a través de las uniones con tu hermano, se vuelve mucho más natural, se vuelve un hábito natural.
Because we're so used to speaking that other voice and hearing those other voices. So it takes us some practice just to focus on that one and not to follow anything other than that voice. But that comes, he knows that trust builds through asking him questions and letting him answer him, and just be like little children asking a lot of questions.
Y entonces actualmente es a través de hacer esa relación con esa voz, porque en la conciencia hay tantas voces diferentes que nos hemos acostumbrado a esas voces. Entonces es esa práctica a través de las uniones y esa relación con Jesús de escuchar esa única voz y seguirla.
Particularly, will you show me Jesus question? That's one of the best ones.
Y en particular, la gran pregunta, ¿me puedes demostrar esto, Jesús? Esa es la única pregunta actualmente.
You'll find that he will talk to you, as I've said, just as clear as he did to Helen in the Earth text. You can see him just going back and forth and have a little discussion, and then I'll share my conversations with him that I typed some of them, and you'll just see it'll be the same for you too. It's just like a little sit down to dinner and talk to Jesus.
Y vas a ver, se vuelve muy, muy simple. Puedo compartir mis notas, igual que tan fácil como él lo hizo con Helen. a través del Vertex, si lo has leído, se vuelve como si estuviese sentado en una mesa, en una reunión familiar, ese tipo de conversaciones con él. Pero voy a compartir mis notas para que puedan ver esa relación con él.
We thank everyone for coming together today. What a blessing. Ride the ride with Jesus straight up. We love you. Thank you, Dyer, for translating. Thank you, everyone, for sharing. And I'm sure we'll have more of these joining sessions, because this is exactly where we get to see that we think we can't hear him, but we really do. And that's the relief. That's the happiness, that we can hear the voice for God within. God speaks to me throughout the day. Anna Maria, does Jesus talk to you throughout the day? That's so great. Love you all. There's the mighties.